Good morning, expert panel, teachers, and my dear friends. This is Kamble Umesh. I teach English literature at Sri Gnaneshwar Mahavidyalaya, Nevase. The present video. Good morning, expert panel, teachers, and my dear friends. This is Kamble Umesh. I teach English literature at Sri Gnaneshwar Mahavidyalaya, Nevase. The present video is prepared as the assignment for short-term course entitled Academic Leadership. Friends, I have taken a topic from literature called What is a Short Story? In fact, this sets a basic inquiry about short story. I have prepared some 13 slides. The first two slides deals with the objectives and outcome. So let's understand what are the objectives. At the outset, the presentation will try to familiarize the students with literary genre. Second, it would help them to understand and explore the nature of short story. There are some outcomes to emphasized in the slide. So the first outcome would be the students shall be able to understand the theoretical framework and they may apply the same while interpreting short story. The second outcome is that the student shall be able to write short question and answer on the topic, the short story. The slide that is displayed on the screen, content, deals with the various elements I'm going to cover during my discussion. These four elements are the origin of short story, definition, elements of short story, and few famous authors and their constructive contribution, creative contribution in the development of the short story. Now let's understand from the first slide what is the origin of short story. In English literature, there are three major literary forms: poetry, drama, and novel. While short story, travel writing are tribal literary forms. To define short story, we understand that it is a brief and meaningful piece of prose, and it has been accompanying mankind from its origin. A famous author was asked to define short story, and she had given an interesting example and said that when you say the king died and the queen died, doesn't make story. But when king died and the queen died of grief, you add grief to it, it creates multiple patterns for the readers, to the listeners, and they are set on the inquiry. They are set on the journey of interpreting the text or the story. So story is a feature that has been going on from the ancient to the modern time, and probably has changed itself in the passage of time too. Especially this genre arrested the attention or the imagination of many for its comprehensive outlook, its capacity to address the mankind issues. Now let's cut it short and concentrate on what are these two main characteristics displayed on the PPT. It has been said by the expert that the story has certain word limitations. A story is supposed to be between 500 to 15,000 words. A story has always a beginning, middle, and the end. Now let's briefly examine some definitions. From the definition, one may understand that the short story is supposed to be focusing on single incident, single plot, single setting, and fewer characters. A short story is supposed to be so brief that one may finish reading it in one sitting. Allan Poe said that an author must fashion the short story with deliberate care so that it produces a single effect. So there are multiple things to discuss here in connection of short story. The short story is supposed to have single plot, it is supposed to have pure characters, and one must finish the story in just a one sitting, at a one sitting. Now let's understand more from the perspective of Allan Poe. He was an American creative writer and probably gave a different height to short stories. He said that the story is supposed to have brevity and necessary coherence that will give the output of a short story. Now let's concentrate on another technical part of short story. These are the elements of short story: plot, characters are some major elements. So let's just examine elements one by one. The first element is called as plot. Plot means series of events which are arranged that produces creative effect. Another element of short story is characters. Characters are the people, animals, or participating in action in any story or fairy tales. They possess particular qualities, moral, intellectual, and emotional qualities. By inference, they perform action and their dialogues. The next part is called as setting and conflict. So what is setting? Setting means physical location or social and cultural surroundings. Time and place are important factors. The final element of the short story is called conflict. So there are two types of conflicts. Conflicts are basically refers to problem or the issues faced by the characters, and they overcome the difficulty in the development of the story. So internal conflict is a conflict that has been treated as the most complex. It is the doubt of an individual and he tries to its conclusion, while external is with the conflict other than him. So there are some conflicts noticed in either play or novels or drama. Character versus character, character versus self, character versus nature, that is man versus society. There are some more elements, that is theme, the message or lesson the writer is trying to give it to its reader, or important ideas in the story. Point of view too is one more element included in here. Through this we understand it is the story told from the first person's, that is I, we, me perspective, or the third person's perspective, that is he, she, may, she, them, or us. We cannot